Hey, Frank and Arlo. We're almost welcoming in the year 2023. I'm sitting here with my fake champagne bottles and noisemaker. We'll see how much noise it really makes. And this cool baritone ukulele made out of mango wood. I call it Miami because it reminds me of our days in Miami. And there were some good old days. But now I'm in Jacksonville Beach drinking a I-10 local Jacksonville beer. Guys, at the end of every year, you should spend some time thinking about what you accomplished in the past year, so in this case 2022, what you want to accomplish next year. So what did grandmother and me accomplish in 2022? The first day of the year, almost exactly 1 year ago this evening, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. As you know, we got married on the beach in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, January 1st, 2002. So we set this year off in the right style. We celebrated our 20th anniversary, and boy, did we celebrate it. We spent the first couple months getting ready for our big trip, the trip of a lifetime. And we say quite often, like, oh, we're going on a trip of a lifetime. This was the trip of a lifetime. On April 18th, we drove to Fort Lauderdale and departed on the Celebrity Reflection for Rome. April 19th, I shot the first one of these videos. Now, there were a couple videos that I shot during speeches at Toastmasters. But me sitting down talking to you two guys, that didn't start until April 19th, the day after we set sail. I started making these videos. We were gone until August 5th. We got back on my birthday. And I'm not going to go through the entire itinerary. We did Spain, Morocco, Spain, France, Switzerland, Amsterdam, which was my favorite place. We were in Amsterdam on July 14th, which is your grandma's birthday. We celebrated that there. And as I said, we got off the ship. It was the Queen Mary II at the Brooklyn Terminal, New York. We got off there on August 5th on my birthday, and we got home on August 7th. On August 21st, I shot the first of the music videos, the soundtrack of my life. In September, we got in the van again, and we drove first to Chattanooga and then to New Orleans. So we got to see you, Arlo, and then we got to see and your parents, and we got to see Aunt Courtney and Uncle Sal. Then in October, I went to Bug Jam. It was outside of Tampa at I think the Pasco County Fairgrounds. Really cool thing. Hopefully someday I'll get to take both you guys to that. It's just all these Volkswagens and people camping out all weekend. Then, in December, we went for like a little less than a week to Claremont, Florida for your birthday party, Arlo. And one of the highlights of that for me was, and I don't know the exact date, was your dad, my son Tom, and I dove in this giant fish tank. 5 million gallons, 50 million gallons, I forget. They said how much it was, but there were hammerhead sharks in there, all kinds of things. I mean, no whales or anything, but there were some fairly good-sized fish, and it was a surreal experience because usually you go to the bottom of the ocean, you go like, yeah, I saw a couple really cool things. This was like, hey, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. And one of the look at that was, look at that, there's Lucy and Arlo. And you freaked out. Right now I have more than 30 YouTube videos posted. And I think another 10 in the can, including this one. So I'm already shooting into 2023. I have 807 students in my Udemy course that have taken the course or are taking it. It's a free course, so it's not like I make any money from that. And now it's December 31st, 2022. This evening, I cooked dinner. Grandmother helped me some. She always has to help me a little bit. I'm always the sous chef. She's the executive chef, and I'm the sous chef. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to figure that out. And the other thing that you do on December 31st each year, you don't just look back at what you accomplished the year before. You look into the future and you say, this is what I want to accomplish next year. And I do that every year. I've done it for many, many years. I did it back, I know when I was a police officer, I used to do it. I was never a big, like, hey, let's go out on New Year's Eve and go crazy kind of guy. I was always a guy, I could sit there and drink and have a good time, and I didn't mind being around people, but I always wanted to spend some time by myself listing my goals for the next year. Right now, I'm doing 2 videos a week on YouTube. I want that to go to 4. I'm going to start to read through fables, legends, myths, fairy tales, folk tales, and things like that. And I also am planning on reading through the Bible, which is, I forget, 900 and some chapters, which will take me, if I put 1 a week on there, I'll be 80 years old by the time I'm done it, and that's fine. I have some other things too. I want to pay off my enormous dental bill that I built up over the last couple of months, and that I'll continue to build up in the early part of this year. I want to pay that off. I want to put a new deck on the back of the house, maybe a 2-story deck. I would love to upgrade my van big time, like get maybe a late model Volkswagen California, which aren't available in the United States. You have to buy them over in Europe. Maybe you can buy them in Canada. I'm going to look into that. But I would like to buy that. And I wouldn't mind keeping the Vatican. It's cool. But it's 40 years old. 41 years old now. Actually, no, 42 years old. I was thinking of my old Vanagon, which was an 82. This is an 81. So it's fixing to be 42 years old pretty soon. So when I was a kid, there was a guy who would be on every year. The ball would drop in Times Square. And when it hit midnight and the ball hit the bottom, and everybody went, "Happy New Year!" This Guy Lombardo, and I think his band was called the Canadian Mounties. It was old music. But they play this song. And the song is Old Lang Syne, which means kind of long ago, good days. It's a song about thinking back. And it's a mellow song. There's people who do upbeat versions of the song, but really the one that Guy Lombardo did each year, that's the song. And even in some of the newer shows, they'll play a recording of Guy Lombardo. The song was an old folk song from Scotland. Some of the words are in a language called Scots, which is related to English, but it's not English. And so there was this poet, thought I had his name written down, didn't. And he was going around the country talking to people who knew all these old folk songs, and he wrote this down. So a lot of people think that he actually wrote the song, but he didn't. He just found somebody who was singing it, and it talks about the good old days. It's got some old words in it, but you'll get the sentiment. So the ball's coming down, and it just hit. And I want to say Happy New Year. Oh, crap. No, it wasn't much of a... Oh, it shot that way. Happy New Year. Now there's crap all over the place. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never bring to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and then of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne will take a cup of kindness for old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and here's a hand to thine. We'll take a cup of kindness for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne will take a cup of kindness for old Happy New Year. Peace out.